What's going on, YouTube? As you can see, things have changed. Retired the 25-gallon Innovative Marine and picked up this nice Red Sea 350. First Red Sea I've ever had. It's only the, I think, second or third new tank I've ever had. The other ones were small. I had a 10-gallon Innovative Marine and a 25-gallon. So far, I like it. You can see the cabinet down here. I tried to make a nice little wall, little sub wall in there, and it turned out okay. It could be cleaner, but it is what it is. I added things after I got everything sat in place, and kind of turned into what it turned into. Got a refugium going. I got two different kinds of algae in there. Ran a flow meter off the main, and then there's a flow meter off the UV sterilizer I added. I'm using a lot more alkalinity and calcium, and I went from a 25-gallon like I said, Innovative Marine, and I was using about 5 to 10 milliliters a day, and now I'm using about 50. And the only thing I can kind of pin it down to is the higher this tank stays at a higher pH than the smaller one. And down here I got these tubes, you can see right here, they go up and they go out the window, so it helps tremendously. The tank stays, I think right now it's at like an 8.4. It will go, you know, anywhere from like 8.5 all the way to, I think, a 8.3, 8.25 is kind of the swing that I get. And you'll have to forgive me for the algae and that awesome stuff and the no fish. So I ended up getting I didn't have quarantine tanks and things of that nature before. And I put a tang in there, a chocolate tang, and it had ick. So I'm running nothing right now. So to get rid of it, I got to go till June. Basically, you can see that it gets down 8.3 basically, and as high as 8.46. I use a lot more, you know, chemical basically now. I hate to say chemical, but I mean, I'm having to add a lot more than I used to, but things are growing quite fast now too. That bird's nest right there was a frag when I put it in, what, 2 months ago? I mean, it's not huge or anything like that, but it was a stick that was branching off barely, and now it's 3 inches wide. So need to get me a couple more scolies. But really, at this point in time, I just would like to get the fish back in here. I do got there's a carpet anemone right there, and then down there in the bottom, it's a rainbow carpet, and there's a little mini max. Let's go check out I added a UV sterilizer a little late, but I run it, it's running at 95 gallons per hour, and then I run the other return pump, it's at 305 gallons per hour. So in case anybody wanted to know, let's go check out the quarantine room now. So this is the old 25-gallon Innovative Marine. It's now the medicine tank. I already drained it, cleaned it, let it dry out, and then refilled it. And it's at a 1.0 ppm for copper right now. Ready for some new fishes that I'm gonna pick up probably this week or next week. I got a purple tang, magnificent foxface, and a naso that I'm gonna throw in here. All babies, of course. But get them going through the same regiment that I did to save the other fish. Unfortunately, I lost the chocolate tang and I lost my coal tang, which really sucks with the whole deal with Hawaii right now. So the coal tang is now super expensive, which, I mean, it is what it is. Here is the quarantine tank. It's a 40-gallon breeder. But everybody's doing real good. Nice and healthy. I did pick up a male Millionaires wrasse that I've had for, he's been for a month and some change. The female, she's doing good. Clowns are doing good. And then there's my hawkfish chilling down there in the bottom. Camera shy. But so as I was saying, I keep the copper at a 1.0 right now. When I add the new fish, over 4 days, I'll raise it up to 2 or 2.5 ppm, depending on the fish. I was treating some wrasses. Wrasses can be sensitive to things, so I kept it at a 2. And then every couple days, you're, dosing Metro, or I was dosing the API, the General Cure. I was actually mixing some of that in with the food. Everything seemed to do good. Just, I never had quarantine tanks before. I'm kind of paying for it now. But I'm going to keep these 2 tanks going. Just everything will go into this one first, and then we'll put it into here. They've been in here since Sunday, so 3 days. Everybody's looking good. They didn't show any signs of ick before, just the tangs did. And unfortunately, like I said, I lost the 2. But I went ahead and treated these fish for everything just so we could start off fresh. And now from here on out, that's what we're going to be doing. They are about 10 foot apart. Some people say it can be airborne. Some people say it can't. So I keep everything separated. But anyways, yeah, hopefully this week or next week I'll pick up those other fish and they'll go right in there and be good to go. They'll be in there for like 16 days total. And then I'll take them and put them in the quarantine tank. But other than that, I like the tank so far. I'm not having any problems keeping, the return valve adjusted or anything like that. It's been staying pretty stable. You can kind of look at the graph. The tank's quiet. We're rocking 306 from 303 to 312. 96 to 97 for the UV. But yeah, it's the only complaint that I have on this system, or just in Red Sea tanks in general, is that they don't come with a lid. I think that's bogus from a company that charges what they charge. I think these are probably the most expensive kind of all-in-one style tanks, and they should give you something. And I know, they don't know what lighting you're going to run or things of that nature, but I mean, they could give you options. I got the DIY deal. I mean, if you look, it was what's on top of my 40-gallon breeder right now, just in case anything tried to jump. It turned out okay. It's almost impossible to make these areas super nice just because it goes left and right, and to pull it tight is apparently it's more than I can do. I can do screens and things of that nature, and they turn out nice. That was 2 tries, and that's the best I got it. So I did order a lid from, I believe it's Clearview's. Their waiting time is, they're pretty backed up, but as soon as it comes in, I'll do another video and see it. From the looks of it, they look amazing. They're a little pricey, but I mean, that's kind of my gripe with this tank, is that you paid this much money for the tank, and they should give you something a little better than nothing. I run 2 AP700s on it. I had a 360X on this tank before, or not this tank, but the 25 gallon. These are actually off of my old tank that I had. I had a 115 gallon, and I had these 2 lights. They're about a year old, and I have nothing bad to say about them. They do extremely well. And it's hard to believe. I mean, all but probably 5 of these coral were in that 25 gallon. The anemones, you know, they were all, there's a rock flower that's hiding down here. But I mean, 90% of these corals and everything were in the 25 gallon. Now at least they have room to grow. You know, you don't realize how much the tangs do for you until you pull them out of the water. I am fighting a little bit of algae, but it is what it is. I am having to dose nitrates to the tank. So if you look real close right there, that blue acro in the middle, it bleached in the middle. I caught it pretty quick. I didn't think the tank would absorb all the nitrate and phosphate as quick as it did. So now I dose that. I keep it at about a 5 for the nitrate, 5 ppm. And then for phosphate, it kind of fluctuates because I feed nitrates, you know, or I'm sorry, I feed reefroids probably every other day. And this tank, for some reason, I don't know what it's doing, but it gets rid of phosphate quick. It's pulling out. It'll get up to about 0.15, 0.18, and the following day be at a 0.08, and then the following day it's at a 0.03. So if you don't watch it, it'll bottom out. So every couple days I feed the reefroids. You know, hey, it's good for the corals, and it keeps that regulated. As long as it stays that way, I won't dose any phosphate. I have been dosing I think it's ESV bionic nitrate. It's a 93 gallon tank, and I'm dosing about 3-4 mils every other day, and it's staying at about a 5. So, but other than that, I mean, it's a pretty general review of the tank. I don't have any complaints with it. Like I said, other than the lid issue, and that's just being honest. My Innovative Marines all came with a lid, and they're, you know, pennies on the dollar compared to this brand. But other than that, I'm enjoying it. So there'll be more to come. If you guys, you know, want a more in-depth, you know, review or how I'm doing the quarantine or whatever, I mean, all this stuff is out there if you search for it, but I can make the video. But hey, thanks for watching, and have a good one. See you next time.